water resources. I'd like to appreciate your presence. These are these notes. We haven't listened to your remarks. Senate President.
The President of the Senate, gentlemen of the press, sir, the Coalition of Northern Group Student Wing have been looking forward to this visit, and that despite your crowded schedule, find the time to gladly receive us today displays the priority you place on education and youth, as well as the belief you have on the organic link between generations. Words cannot explain what this meeting meant to us in general and what it means to all the Nigerian students currently studying in Nigerian tertiary institutions and prospective students. Coming mostly from poor families and rural backgrounds, opportunities like these are rare or virtually non-existent. You can therefore understand our shock when we received your letter of approval. It is based on the foregoing that I would therefore like to take a minute to thank you, sir, for this rare opportunity to visit your esteemed office and also express CNG Student Wing warmest, sincere and grateful regard to you as a person and the office and the institution you represent. The Coalition of Northern Group Student Wing is an umbrella body of students at home and in the diaspora, with a vision of mobilizing and conscientizing Northern Nigerian students in higher institutions of learning to claim their natural and legitimate role in shaping the destiny of the region and the country at large. The student wing of the Coalition of Northern Group is thus saddled with the vital task of stimulating and harnessing the potentials of these students toward entrenching accountable, qualitative, and sustainable leadership for the future. Why the August visit? Distinguished sir, we are here primarily based on the belief that you are a kinsman who never backed down from a just cause, and also based on the belief that as an educationist and a legislative, we are of the belief that there is no any other higher placed individual with a better grasp of the importance of education in national development as you, sir. I want to acknowledge your commendable, tireless effort and your timely intervention along with other lawmakers in ensuring that the interest of the Nigerian people prevails. We appreciate your statesmanship and concern for the plight of the ordinary Nigerians on the issue of fuel subsidy. You definitely deserve applause for identifying the issues and siding with the masses, thereby averting unnecessary suffering that will have worsened their situations. Sir, we standing before you to register our concern over reports from our state chapters of the impending plans by both the federal and state government to commercialize education and make it exclusively preserved of the few privileged people at the expense of children of millions of less privileged Nigerians. Sir, institutions such as Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi in the northeast, and Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria in the northwest, were reported to have doubled their registration fees, and IBB University in the north central was reported to have increased its registration fees by 60% among other tertiary institutions. It is in line with that that we at the CNG Student Wing request the quick intervention of your esteemed office and appeal to you on behalf of the millions of Nigerian students and their families to see to the reversal of the high, which will enable students from poor and marginalized families have access to tertiary education, which will lead to the limitless opportunities. Our concerns. Sir, the student wing hereby condemns in the strongest terms the high registration fees as untimely, immoral, unconscionable, height of insensitivity, and unacceptable attempt to deny the children of the poor access to affordable education and widen the already entrenched class dichotomy. Sir, we find it ridiculous and sad that stakeholders, particularly the lawmakers, cannot summon the courage to speak or stand with the people that sacrifice so much to see them in office at this trying time, to demand an immediate reversal in the high, despite knowing that whenever elected officials are indifferent or afraid to speak up for what is right and just, people tend to lose the already little hope they have in the system. It is unfortunate, sir, that people in government today, whom are the major beneficiaries of the magnanimity and foresight of past Nigerian leaders in the provision of quality, accessible, readily available and affordable education are today the same people working to deprive other generation of the same privileges. Sir, it is currently predicted that more girls will drop out of school following the current economic hardship, unemployment, poverty and insecurity, which is crippling most of the commercial activities, particularly in northern Nigeria. It is also worrisome that this will be coming at a time when promoting girl-child education was the front burner of global discourse, especially in developing countries like Nigeria. This singular act has negatively showcased the government's responsiveness towards promoting inclusive education and is disheartening to all well-meaning Nigerians. It is ridiculous that the increase is coming at a time when Nigerians are suffering economically. Unfavorable developmental indices and figures. Such increase in a country in which most of its citizens were living below poverty line will have negative impact on human capital development. If the peace high is not reviewed downward, sir, it may, God forbid, lead to massive dropout among students of tertiary institutions and a surge in other social biases, as students might be compelled to survive by all means. We therefore appeal to you, sir, on behalf of our parents, youth, and all other well-meaning Nigerians to use your esteemed office to see to the reversal of the high to enable students from poor and marginalized families access tertiary education. If you do this for us, sir, prosperity will remember you and Nigerians will forever celebrate you. Thank you. Long live Nigerian student and long live the Republic of Nigeria.
For any nation, society or community to develop, and any society or country that does not prioritize education is going to suffer stunted development, and the repercussions of not educating citizens are better imagined, because you not only lose the human resources that you need for development, but some of these people would turn into other alternatives that are not desirable. I understand very well what you are talking about, the issue of increase in registration fees. Even though I'm yet to confirm exactly what the increase is, whether it's systemic across the system or it's in pockets and therefore localized, but we are going to engage the necessary authorities, and that's why we have the chairman of a committee on tertiary institutions and TED Fund here, Senator Ahmad Lawan. We are going to engage with the Federal Minister of Education, with the NUC, with all the necessary organs of the system in the Nigerian tertiary institutions. I believe that this is, at this moment, very, very unnecessary. But I also believe that government must prioritize education. And what that means is not only to create or establish the institutions, but to support our students all the way, to get into the universities, those who are qualified to be there, and tertiary institutions, sponsor them until they graduate. Because most, if not all, successful nations have very high level of literacy and high level of critical mass of the kind of human resources they need for their development. So, as a Senate, and indeed as members of the National Assembly representing you, we are going to take this matter very, very seriously. We are going to look into it very, very seriously and closely and expeditiously, and we want to find a solution to it. We want you to be productive when you are through with your training. And therefore, it's the responsibility of government in the first place, as far as I'm concerned. And that will sound welfarist, but I believe that we, as a developing nation, we cannot run away from that obligation of providing education to our citizens, particularly those who cannot afford it because their families are not that well to do. Many of us here are not from well to do families. I'm not. But we received the best possible support, right from primary school, secondary school, and tertiary institutions. And in fact, this is an opportunity for me to appeal to our state governments across the northern states and across the country really, to continue to support the education of our citizens seriously by providing the necessary scholarships and giving them in time when they will be very helpful. Here at the federal level, the Senate will work hard and ensure that we do something that will change the narrative. No, it's not going to be just increase or hike in the registration fees and then maybe only 20-25% of the students will be able to pay and the rest should be at home. That is running away from the responsibility of being responsible for providing education. And in fact, there is nothing special if you educate your citizens. Nothing special. It's a burden on you as a government. It's a burden because once you are in government, you are supposed to provide a conducive environment for teaching and learning. What else should be our priority? If we are talking about security, it could be argued that lack of education may be responsible for some of the security breaches we have been having. You don't educate your society, how do you even mobilize them for development? Thank you. So, we are happy to receive you, and I want to say that you are CNG Students Wing, the coalition for northern groups, but you are representing all Nigerian students. Because if there will be increase in registration fees, it's not going to affect you only. It's going to affect students from the remaining, I think, 17 states in the south and the FCT. And of course, the senator of the FCT is here. But you are taking the responsibility, the lead, to talk to your leaders about this. And I want to commend you for taking that leadership. And I know the level of poverty in most of the northern states. And maybe that is why you are taking the lead. Because in many states, you can see 75–80% level of poverty. But whether there's poverty or not, government is supposed to provide serious support for education. Serious and massive. So, with the level of financial challenges that some of us, or many, are facing, the intervention of government has even become more imperative. So I want to assure you that we are going to swing into action immediately by the grace of God, and we'll do whatever is necessary to make sure that you don't suffer any financial increase that will stop you from continuing with your education.
You are a leader, not a ruler. You are a father, not a daddy. You are a comrade, not comrado. In fact, we submit to you, our leader. If you bear with me witness, give soundable articulated voter to our able Senate president. Voter! 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 The Hausa, Mungore, Mungore, Mungore. The Arabchi, Shukura, Shukura, Shukura. The Aramata.
Well, is that the calling of your office, or you are doing it free of charge? Well, we are discussing a very, very serious matter of national consequence, and maybe this kind of intervention maybe softens the environment for us, but I want to tell you that this is as important as any issue can be when it comes to not only educating Nigerians, but ensuring security for our country. So I want to once again assure you that we are taking this matter. You will give us the list of the institutions that have already increased. You have to start from something. I want to start doing that immediately, possibly this week, by the grace of God, so that we are able to understand what is going on in the system, how we can prevent it, or how we can mitigate it. I know the institutions are also challenged because of limited resources, but then again, that is supposed to be the responsibility of government, the federal government and the states that establish tertiary institutions, to ensure that they fund the institutions they have established. And therefore, that is supposed to minimize that temptation for the school or institutions, authorities, to start thinking of hiking up the registration fees because they need more resources for them to run the institutions. Even though government cannot provide sufficiently, but government must provide reasonably and responsibly, because we just have to have an environment where our students and their parents are not overburdened with fees that could even take them out of the institutions of learning. Because that would be worse. It's not an option. Never. We want you to be enrolled, to stay in, learn, and come out successful. And that is what we will do by the grace of God. It may not be the kind of situation that we all would like, but if we put so much effort, we can get it better. And I want to urge you, no demonstration. Pray that we get everything done in a very good time, but explain to your students or your members the efforts we will start making immediately, that there is no need to despair, that we are in this together with you, that at the end of the day, our joy and our glory as members of the National Assembly is to see our education institutions functioning and to see you succeeding in those institutions. We all passed through different institutions, and we know our states provided scholarships for us. I'm sure many states are doing that. Is there any state that is not providing scholarship? Who is from a state that is not providing scholarship? None. Which state? Huh? Don't report this. Where are you from? Huh? No. How can the not provide scholarship? Maybe you didn't. No. Is there another person? Yes, why only ladies raising hands? Huh? Kogi? You see, I'm sure there is no northern state that is not providing scholarship. I may understand that not every student is captured, and we hope that all our students are captured. But it's not possible that a northern state will not provide scholarship. So for us here, I think the scholarship is supposed to supplement or complement the efforts that the federal government will be doing to ease the hardship that students could face. Because when you have the facilities that you need, you don't have to buy something for your use in the university. But I want to assure you once again that our states, in all the northern states, 19 states, will have to improve this, and we are going to engage with them. I just appeal to them. I want to admit here that the resources are scarce. But that is not an excuse for us not to prioritize education. In fact, it's when you have this kind of situation that you must get your priorities right. Yes. Because they say pound foolish. Is it? Penny wise, pound foolish. So if we have paucity of funds, then we must be very efficient and prudent in utilizing the scarce resources. And education must be at the top. Because the implications for education are just too many. It has implications on security, on health, on economy, on everything. So we will push for this at the federal level where we have our mandate. I want to assure you we are going to start with the Ministry of Education, all the tertiary, the authorities that are dealing with tertiary institutions, and our chairman, tertiary institution, is here. In fact, I will participate personally in this. Personally. So, the message to your members is you have come You have met with us, and we promise you we are going to swing into action to establish, first and foremost, the increase in registration fees in our tertiary institutions. Whether it's systemic or it's individual thing, or selected, we will establish that. And we will find a way of ensuring that this thing does not escalate, that this thing, we must treat it as a topmost national priority. Government must look into it. But in return, exercise restraint. Always bear in mind that today and tomorrow belong to all of us. It's not that the future belongs to the youth. No. Even today belongs to all of us, the youth. Right? It belongs to us today, tomorrow. You share with us today. Because you have all your own roles to play. And the tomorrow is decided by today. So let's not do anything that will cause unnecessary tension, because we have listened to you and we are going to take action. In fact, even if you didn't come here, we had discussions with the leaders of CNG that we are going to look into this matter. Just like we should be at our best whenever we hear the plight of our people, wherever they are, in whichever part of the country they are. So I want to thank you most sincerely, and I will give a chance to the chairman, Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund, Senator Ahmad Lawan, to just...
as the Senate President requested, whatever you cannot get peacefully, you cannot get it by power or force. Even worse, when there is a war, at the end of the day, it is on the table of negotiation that it is resolved. So, what we expect of you, let me start by saying that you are very responsible in your approach. We really appreciate that. For you to have thought that you should meet leaders who intervene to find an amicable resolution to this kind of problem. So this is a wonderful thing, and we encourage you to do that. But that's just one leg. The second leg is for you to go back. First of all, educate your membership that your grievances are being addressed at the topmost level. There is no top from here. You have reached the final. So, and like the Senate President has directed, I'll get the institutions now where we have these increases. We'll immediately swing into action. Invite the Universities Commission. The Universities Commission, if it is a polytechnic, we'll invite MBTE, and if it is a college of education. So we are going to write them later, invite them so that we can have a day on how best we can resolve this. We may extend our invitation to some of you to participate so that you can see how you'll be part and parcel of the process that will resolve the situation. While this is being considered, we expect you to stay calm, educate your membership. Nobody should organize any riot, nobody should bring any problem in the institution, because at the end of the day, that might not resolve the problem. At the end of the day, you will be the one going home. Senate President will still come to work. Other students in other institutions will still go to their classes. So there is no need to disrupt the system for now. And we assure you that we'll do everything humanly possible to address the issue. Thank you, Mr. President.
We then proceed. His Excellency will take leave of us and join you as soon as we are sure that you are set for the photograph, so that we don't keep him waiting. Thank you very much. Distinguished senators will also join you. You students, you can follow the back door. Follow this back door. They will lead you to the lift, and then you can proceed downstairs. Jamiu.